You're listening to Full Circle Weekly News. These articles are compiled by Eric the Unready, and I'm your host, Moss Bliss. This is episode 369, covering week 22, May 27th to June 2nd, 2024. Armbian 24.5 has been published, providing a compact system environment for various single-board computers with processors based on ARM, RISC-V, and x86 architectures, including various models based on Allwinner, Amlogic, Action Semi, Freescale/NXP, Marvell Armada, Rockchip, Radza, and Samsung Exynos processors. Debian and Ubuntu are used to generate builds, but the environment is completely rebuilt using its own build system, including optimizations to reduce size, increase performance, and apply additional security mechanisms. For example, the /var/log partition is mounted using ZRAM and stored in RAM in a compressed form, with data flushed to the drive once a day or upon shutdown. The /tmp partition is mounted using TMPFS. The project supports more than 30 Linux kernel builds for different ARM and ARM64 platforms. An SDK is provided to simplify the creation of your own system images, packages, and distribution editions. ZSwap is used for swapping. Also, when logging in via SSH, an option is provided to use two-factor authentication. The Box64 emulator is included, allowing you to run programs compiled for processors based on x86 architectures. Ready-made packages are offered for running custom environments based on KDE, GNOME, Budgie, Cinnamon, i3WM, Mate, XFCE, and Xmonad. KOS 2024.05 has been published, a rolling release distribution aimed at providing a desktop based on the latest releases of KDE and applications using Qt. Distribution-specific design features include the placement of a vertical panel on the right side of the screen. The distribution maintains its own independent repository of more than 1,500 packages and also offers a number of its own graphical utilities. The default file system is XFS. Builds are published for x86-64 systems. Canonical has announced the preparation of separate builds for Ubuntu 24.04, specially optimized to run on the Milk-V Mars board, equipped with a 4-core 64-bit Star5 JH7110 processor based on the RISC-V architecture. This is a first miniature board based on the RISC-V architecture, about the size of a credit card. The board is also notable for its relatively low cost for RISC-V boards. In the minimum configuration with 2 gigs of RAM, the board retails for $39. The board comes with LPDDR4 RAM sizes of 1, 2, 4, or 8 gigabytes and is equipped with slots for eMMC and microSD cards, 3 USB 3.0 ports, 1 USB 2.0 port, and an HDMI 2.0 port with support for 4K resolution, an Ethernet connector, an M.2 eKey slot for connecting a Wi-Fi/Bluetooth module, a MIPI camera serial interface, and a 40-pin GPIO. You can connect 2 monitors to the board. It supports hardware acceleration for H.264, H.265, and JPEG decoding, as well as H.265 and JPEG encoding. There are 2 builds available for download, a pre-built boot environment for copying to an SD card, and an installation image for installation on an eMMC, USB drive, or NVMe. The builds correspond to Ubuntu Server 24.04 with a Linux 6.8 kernel. Limitations include the lack of support for the built-in GPU and incomplete support for PCIe. An NVMe drive can be used, but connecting modules with Wi-Fi and an external GPU is not yet supported. As for the USB ports, only USB 3.0 ports are currently supported, and USB 2.0 is not available. As part of a strategic cooperation agreement between Milk-V and Canonical, the Ubuntu distribution will be adapted to work on other Milk-V devices, including future product. The Ubuntu platform will be promoted as the primary supported and maintained system for all Milk-V board variants, with a focus on support for compute acceleration and AI engines. In addition to Milk-V devices, specially optimized builds of Ubuntu 24.04 are also available for Allwinner Nezha, Microchip PolarFire, Sci5 Unmatched, Cyped Lychee RV Dock, and Star5 Vision 5 2 boards. Builds for boards based on RISC-V architecture are also being developed by the Debian, Armbian, Alpine, Diet Pi, Fedora, and Arch Linux communities. Rhino Linux 2024.1, which implements a variant of Ubuntu with a rolling delivery model, is out. New versions are mainly transferred from Devel branches of Ubuntu repositories, which build packages with new versions of applications synchronized with Debian Unstable. Desktop components, the Linux kernel, boot screens, themes, the Firefox browser, and utilities developed by the project are distributed through a separate Packstall repository. Live installation images are prepared for x86-64 and ARM64 architectures, as well as for ARM devices Pine PineTab, PineTab 2, PinePhone, PinePhone Pro, and Raspberry Pi. Package management is carried out using its own package manager Rhino Package, or RPK, which implements a binding over the package manager's apt, packstall, flatpak, and snap. Rhino Package allows you to use one universal utility to perform common operations with various package formats, such as installing, uninstalling, updating, and searching for packages. To build the distribution, the Live Build toolkit from the Debian project is used with modifications borrowed from Vanilla OS. Calamares is the default installer. The graphical interface is built on Unicorn's own user environment, which is a redesigned version of XFCE. In Unicorn, the developers tried to combine a more modern design with a traditional approach to building a desktop. Plank Dock is used as the sidebar, and the standard XFCE panel is used as the top panel. To navigate through installed applications, the App Grid mode implemented based on Lightpad is used. Lasse Collin published corrective releases of the XZ-Utils packages 5.2.13, 5.4.7, and 5.6.2, which removed backdoor components and other suspicious changes added as a result of malicious activities of the previous maintainer. In addition, a review report has been published on the Git repository, and changes added since December 2022 during Jia Tan's tenure as maintainer. Changes are analyzed at the level of individual commits. The commits in the repository were not digitally signed, but there were no signs of tampering on the part of the committers. A total of 8 malicious commits were removed from the repository. Canonical has announced the availability of builds of Ubuntu 24.04 optimized for real-time tasks. The builds use the Linux 6.8 kernel with RT patches, which reduce latency and allow for predictable event processing times. The builds additionally include optimizations aimed at improving performance and reducing latency on Raspberry Pi 4 and 5 boards, and systems based on Intel Core processors that support time-coordinated computing and time-sensitive networking technologies. Ready-made builds are generated for x86-64 and AArch64 architectures and are distributed through the Ubuntu Pro service, which is a commercial application. Oracle has published Solaris 11.4 SRU69, which offers a series of significant changes and improvements for the Solaris 11.4 branch. To install the fixes offered in the update, simply run the package update command. Users can also take advantage of the free Solaris 11.4 CBE edition, which is developed using a continuous release model. Network Manager 1.48.0 has been introduced to simplify the configuration of network parameters. Plugins for VPN support are developed as part of their own development cycles. Fedora 41 proposed removing the network-scripts package, which provides support for the classic network configuration scripts based on the if-up and if-down commands. Such scripts have been declared obsolete since 2018. The reason for the deletion is said to be plans to remove ISC DHCP, as maintenance of it was discontinued at the end of 2022. The proposals are still at the discussion stage. Rocky Linux 8.10 is out, aimed at creating a free build of RHEL capable of taking the place of the classic CentOS. Rocky Linux builds are prepared for x86-64 and AArch64 architectures. Additionally, builds are generated for cloud environments, Oracle Cloud Platform, Generic Cloud, Amazon AWS, Google Cloud Platform, and Microsoft Azure, as well as images for containers and virtual machines in rootfs/OCI and Vagrant formats. Among the changes specific to Rocky Linux are the supply of additional repositories, plus with the Open-VM-Tools package, NFV with packages for virtualization of network comments developed by the Network Functions Virtualization SIG group, RT with packages for working in real time, Power Tools, resilient storage, and high availability. Kaspersky Labs introduced the KVRT application for scanning Linux systems for threats and malicious applications, such as viruses, backdoors, trojans, adware, and spyware, as well as applications that can facilitate attacks on the system. In addition to checking files, the program scans memory and boot sectors. Console and graphical operating modes are supported, as well as the ability to run without root permissions, limited to checking files available to the user. During operation, telemetry is sent, including data on detected malware, to Kaspersky Security Network servers. The scanner is designed as a universal self-sufficient application that supports 64-bit environments based on a large variety of distributions. The program is distributed free of charge. Automatic updates of antivirus databases are not supported. You need to download a new version. The program is updated several times a day. LIX 2.4.0, a visual editor for scientific documents, has been published, allowing you to create text using text or latex markup while visually editing the document layout in a WYSIWYG view. The resulting document is saved in LaTeX format, but text can be imported and exported into formats such as PDF, PostScript, DVI, ASCII, HTML, OpenDocument, RTF, ODF, DOC, and EPUB. Binary builds are generated for Windows and Mac OS. You've been listening to Full Circle Weekly News. For more details, see the next issue of the magazine at fullcirclemagazine.org or check the links in the show notes. You can contact me at bardmoss@pm.me. I'll see you next week.